Hi, how are you? Hope you're well. So today I am here with part 2 of a little bookish game that I filmed for the first time earlier this year, and I had a lot of fun doing it, so I wanted to continue doing it, I guess. Today I will be guessing review scores based off of the blurbs of books. I'm going to see if I can pick up the stack to show you, but today, oh my god, we will be guessing all of these books' review scores. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting time. So let's just get right into it. I'm not screen recording this time around because my iPad does want to kill itself every time I use it at all. And so I'm just going to put screenshots up here from my phone when I'm editing this video. In case you didn't watch it before, I'm giving myself a 0.1 window. So let's say I guess 4 stars, anywhere from 3.9 to 4.1 would be considered correct. Anything other than that is considered incorrect. I'm currently in a reading slump, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing a punishment or if I'm just going to be gracious with myself, and if I get some wrong, we'll get some wrong, but I guess we'll see how many I get wrong and then we'll decide if I do the punishment. Usually the punishment is the number of books I have to finish this month. First and foremost, we will be guessing the review score to The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. Kristen Peterson doesn't do drama, will fight to death for her friends, and has no room in her life for guys who just don't get her. She's also keeping a big secret, facing a medically necessary procedure that will make it impossible for her to have children. Planning her best friend's wedding is bittersweet for Kristen, especially when she meets the best man, Josh Copeland. He's funny, sexy, never offended by her mile-wide streak of sarcasm, and always one chicken enchilada ahead of her hangry. Even her dog, Stuntman Mike, adores him. The only catch, Josh wants a big family someday. Kristen knows he'd do better off with someone else, but as their attraction grows, it's harder and harder to keep him at arm's length. The Friend Zone will have you laughing one moment and grabbing for tissues the next, as it tackles the realities of infertility and loss with wit, heart, and a lot of sass. So I have read Abby Jimenez before, and I do know that she's beloved. However, I also do know that this is her debut novel, and I have heard some people say that the Part of Your Old series is better than this one. And so I think this is going to be 3.83 is kind of what's screaming in my mind right now. Let's just go ahead and check. The results are 3.90. Okay, I got it right. But next we do have The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy. I'm very excited to read this one. I was originally planning on reading it in the summertime, but now I think I might save it for autumn time. I feel like this would be a really fun rom-com for when it's a bit chilly outside. Hart Ralston is a martial tasked with patrolling the strange and magical wilds of Tonria. It's an unforgiving job, and he's got nothing but time to ponder his loneliness. Mercy Bridessoul never has a moment to herself. She's been single-handedly keeping Bridessoul and Son Undertakers afloat in defiance of sullen jerks like Heartache Hart, the man with a knack for showing up right when her patience is thinnest. After yet another run-in with Merciless Mercy, Hart finds himself penning a letter addressed simply to a friend. Much to his surprise, he receives an anonymous letter in return, and a tentative friendship is born. Little does Hart know he's bearing his soul to the person who infuriates him the most. It sounds fun, it sounds cute, however, it does also just sound kind of run-of-the-mill rom-com. I think the fact that she's an undertaker is probably the unique facet of this novel, and the fact that it seems to be magic realism, maybe? I could be wrong though. However, I've never really heard anything about this novel, but to me it's always just seemed quite fun and exciting, and I've really wanted to read this one. And I heard that if you like The House in the Cerulean Sea, this one is good as well. So I'm assuming it means like lovable, heartwarming characters in that way. I think I'm going to go with a 3.74. I don't think this would be too high, but I also don't think it would be incredibly low either, because this is book 1 in a series, you know? And the results are 4.06. So Great news for me that this is so highly rated, but that was incredibly wrong. I wasn't even close. I had no idea that this book was this well loved. That's quite incredible, actually. Okay, I'll make 2 piles for correct guesses and incorrect guesses. Next we have A Taste of Poison by Tsonia Odette. Loved book 1, loved book 2, DNF'd book 3. But we actually do have 2 of her books, and I'm holding out hope that it was just a dud. So, a runaway princess wanted for murder, a deadly huntsman who's after her heart. Hot Fae Astrid Snow is used to being disliked. With magic that makes her mirror back one's worst quality, she has more enemies than friends. And when she's accused of poisoning her father, her stepmother, the formidable Spring Queen, becomes her greatest enemy yet. Forced into hiding, she finds solace at the Seven Sins Hotel. It provides the perfect subterfuge she needs. For who could ever find an outlaw in a hotel famed for sin? Bear shifter Torben Davenport lost everything to the gambling halls. To pay off his debts, he serves the Fae royals as their personal huntsman, locating hard-to-find fugitives with his scent-based magic. When the Spring Queen offers him a bargain that will erase his debts for good, he's willing to do what it takes, even if it means finding the Queen's runaway stepdaughter and cutting out her heart. Astrid won't go down without a fight, even if her assailant is a strikingly handsome huntsman. If she can't evade the bear shifter's claws, maybe she can make him an ally. It's easier said than done, especially after she accidentally gets herself handcuffed to her infuriating captor. Can Astrid cut through Torben's icy demeanor and convince him to help her find the real killer? Or will she lose her heart in more ways than one? So that sounds really fun. Even though book 3 was a dud, I loved her first 2 books. I love this series. It's all fairy tale retellings, and I do know that they're quite highly rated on average. And so I'm going to guess this is probably, I want to say, my heart is saying either 4.09 or 4.23. I'm going to just go high and say 4.23. I'm really hoping I'm not wrong, but I am. Ooh, I'm not doing well this time around. I did so well in the last video. So the star rating on average is 3.92 and I said 4.23. So I'm not even close to being correct, which is shocking. I really thought this was higher, which I guess is just going to lead me to the next book in the series. And normally I only do book 1s in series, or like the next book in a series if I've already read book 1. However, because these are interconnected standalones, it won't spoil, the blurb won't spoil the previous book, so I don't mind. But next we're doing A Dream So Wicked, also by Tsonia Odette. I will be keeping in mind that this one is a 3.92 and not go too high with this one, but let's first read what this is about. A vicious rivalry, a forbidden desire, a curse only her enemy can break. After 20 years stuck in a Fae convent with no word from whoever abandoned her there, Bryony Rose is all out of hope. When her parents suddenly claim her and reveal she's a lost princess, she's burdened with the weight of a kingdom on the brink of collapse. To secure her family's precarious position, she must marry a wealthy man, a wealthy human stranger. She would have done her duty with pride if it weren't for Thorn Blackwood. Thorn Blackwood harbors 3 things: a secret name, a love for baked goods, and a long-standing plan for revenge on the family that destroyed his own. Bryony Rose, a woman born to be his nemesis, provides the solution with a single touch. He controls her. And through that control, he tricks her into triggering a curse that sends her family into 100 years of enchanted sleep. But Bryony isn't the soft princess he expected her to be. She's just as sharp and cunning as he is, and when she traps him in a bargain to reverse her family's curse, he has no choice but to join a tense alliance. He too stands to gain from her plans, for if they break the sleeping spell, his own family will return from their forced slumber. To accomplish their goal, they must cooperate on one task: pair Bryony with a husband who will make her parents proud. It should be easy. Thorn has connections while Bryony has wit and beauty. What neither of them expects is a forbidden desire that burns in their darkest hearts. That sounds really fun. It's always so intriguing when it's a romance and it requires the two that should end up together to find someone for the other. and so interesting. It's also a Sleeping Beauty retelling, which I do feel like is a less popular retelling, which makes me wonder if more people have read this one. However, keeping in mind that the other one was below 4 stars, I don't want to go too high. So I think I'm going to say 4.03 for A Dream So Wicked. But let's find out together if I'm going to be 3 out of 4 incorrect. It's taking a while to load, I'm so sorry. 4.11. That is within my thing, so I got it correct. Yay! Okay, so glad to see that this one's at least highly rated, but now I need to know what the other books are because I'm confused. So let's quickly take a detour, shall we? Book 1 was 3.81, book 2 was 4.05, book 3 was 3.87. Oh, right, okay, that makes sense, I guess. But anyway, next. I've been wanting to read this novel for ages and I keep putting it off, and I don't know why. It's really irritating. I did recently see how thick the final book in the series are, and so now I'm frightened beyond belief, but I do need to pick this up at some point. I don't even remember why I wanted to read it so badly at this point, but we have Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tooley. 10 women, a deadly contest. Only one can win the Sun King's heart. Laura has endured 12 long years of torment under the Aurora King's rule. Her only desire is to escape and pay him back for every moment of misery she endured. When a surprise release finds her in the hands of the rival Sun King, Laura's thrust into the spotlight as she competes against 9 other tributes for the role of queen. If she wins his heart, she'll earn her freedom and finally get revenge. But Laura doesn't belong in the Sun Queen trials. Not only does she not understand why she was freed, she isn't a citizen of the Sun King's court. The other tributes resent her presence and will stop at nothing to ensure Laura is removed from the competition permanently. Now Laura must win, because if she loses, she dies. Or worse, she'll be returned to the evil and now vengeful Aurora King. It sounds decently interesting. It definitely sounds like every other romantasy books, trials, competition, whatever. Like, it sounds very basic, which I think could play into its favor. It has a beautiful cover, which I think would allure people. And so I don't think it's necessarily too low, but I don't think it's quite high either, because it doesn't sound revolutionary in any type of way. So I think I'm going to guess 3.87. 3.89. I was gonna say 3.83 at first, and I thought that might be too high, but what did I say? What did I say? 3.79 or 3.87? Either way, I know I got it correct, so it's fine, but cannot remember what I guessed. That's not good. But I got it right. Woo! Okay. So it's not too bad, it's not too low. I would say that's a decently good rating, and let's see the rest of the series. 3.89, 3.79, 3.9, 3.97, 3.98, 3.88. Not great, but also not bad that the last book drops, but yeah. Next we do have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This was actually gifted to me by my fiance's stepmom. They asked him for a few books to buy me for Christmas, and I gave him 3 options. They bought all 3, and then she bought me a box set of this series because she said she knew I like fantasy, and so this seemed like something up my alley. I've not watched the show, but I have seen that there is a show on Netflix. This is one of those weird novels that I've always known about, but I've never wanted to pick it up. So I'm very curious to see what my thoughts are when I eventually do pick it up. I think I might do the audiobook for it. I was originally going to read it for Halloween this year, but I don't know if I'm still going to do that. We will see. Deep in the heart of Oxford's Bodleian Library, Diana Bishop, a young scholar and the descendant of witches, unearths an enchanted alchemical manuscript. I'm so sorry, I'm terrible at reading out loud, and some of these words, my tongue doesn't want to cooperate. Wanting nothing more to do with sorcery, she banishes the books to the stacks, but her discovery has set a fantastical underworld stirring, and soon a horde of daemons, witches, and other creatures descend upon their library. Among them is the enigmatic Matthew Claremont, a vampire with keen interest in the book. Equal parts history and magic, romance and suspense, a discovery of witches as a mesmerizing and addictive tale of passion and obsession that reveals the closely guarded secrets of an enchanted world. Now that I have read the back for the first time ever in my life, I can see why she picked it for me. Magical libraries, witches, vampires, and daemons sounds very much up my alley, so that makes perfect sense now. Considering the fact that there is a show on this, I do feel like it kind of gives away that the rating would definitely be higher. I haven't seen people talk about it, but I have seen it recommended on Book Talk quite a lot. And so I do think this would probably be definitely high 3s, low 4s. I think I'm going to maybe guess 3.97. I don't know why, but that is the rating that is calling to me. So let's see what it is. Okay, I'm back on my groove. It's a 4.02, which means I did get it correct, and it's exactly where I thought it would be. I thought I lost it for a second, but I've gotten 2 wrong, and this is my 4th correct, so I'm very happy about that. And this was definitely intriguing. I'm much more excited to read this now, actually. The pages are a lot, though, so like I said, I will most likely be audiobooking it. I might pick it up a little bit physically, depending on how I feel about it. Also, I really hope that my hair isn't ruining the mic. This is the first time I'm filming wearing one of these shirts, so I'm so sorry if the audio is absolute shit. Next, we have another present. I got book 1 and 2 from my dad for my birthday earlier this year. This is The Deer and the Dragon by Piper CJ. I don't remember why I wanted to read it so badly. It's one of those books where I never want to pick it up, but every time I read the blurb, I really want to read it. So hopefully this gets me to maybe pick it up. The deities you call aren't always the ones who answer. Marlowe needs to believe she's crazy. The alternative would mean embracing the gift or curse shared by her mother and grandmother. She can see angels and demons, including a dark and haunting entity who's been with Marlowe her entire life. At least she believes that's all he is, until a fae from the Nordic pantheon strolls into her life and informs her that she's sharing a bed with the Prince of Hell, a prince who's now gone missing. Before she knows it, Marlowe is deeply entangled in a centuries-old war, stumbling straight into a battleground between mighty beings of myth and legend from powerful pantheons around the world. And who will come out on top may just depend on her and the love she has never dared to believe in. What the hell? Wait, is this a modern day? I think I saw text. Oh, it's a modern day one too. I thought it was like olden timey. Okay, that's interesting. So, oh, did you hear that? That was nice. I have heard of this book, but almost exclusively as PR packages to some of the YouTubers I watch. And so other than that, I haven't really heard anything from it, but it sounds really interesting. And I do think this sounds closer to a romantasy, so I can definitely see it being quite popular. I also do think that this is going to be high 3s, low 4s. And so I think I'm going to say 4 stars on the dot. Okay, that's not making this look good. It's 3.63. Could not have been wronger, apparently. Well, that kind of just killed my excitement. I know it shouldn't, but 3.63 I feel like is quite a low average rating. Well, I'm being harsh. It's not that low. Realistically, anything below 3 and up is fine. It means it's average, but I just thought it would be higher. Oh well, I guess I'll put the audiobook on hold. Next, we do have an author who I've yet to read, but this is my 3rd book by her that I own, and so I do need to pick up her stuff relatively soon. But that is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I really, really want to read this in autumn, but the problem is we don't have autumn, and so I'm kind of tempted to wait until January, because where I live, autumn kind of hits in January because that's the coldest month, and so you kind of get a little bit of foliage. By a little bit of foliage, I mean like there's one tree type that you see that kind of gets a bit orangey, and that's about it. But we'll see. Emery Blackwood's life changed forever the night her best friend was found dead and the love of her life, Olga Salt, was accused of murdering her. Years later, she was doing what her teenage self swore she never would, living a quiet existence on the misty remote shores of Sorsha, island and running the family business, Blackwood's Tea Shop Herbal Tonics and Tea Leaf Readings. When the island rooted in folklore magic begins to show signs of strange happenings, Emery knows that something is coming. The morning she wakes to find that every single tree on Sersha has turned color in a single night. August returns for the first time in 14 years and unearths the past that the town has tried desperately to forget. August knows he is not welcome on Sersha. Not after the night everything changed. A fire raged on at the Salt family orchard. Lily Morgan was found dead in the dark woods, shaking the bedrock of their tight-knit community and branding August a murderer. When he returns to bury his father's ashes, he must confront the people who turned their backs on him and face the one wound from the past that has never healed. Emery. I am so sorry. None of these words are making it into my brain right now. I don't know what's going on. But the town has more than one reason to want August gone. The emergence of hidden promises and deep betrayals spanning generations threaten to reveal the truth behind Lily's mysterious death once and for all. I mean, it sounds interesting, and I know that she's a very popular author, but I think I've heard hit or miss things about this one. So I think I'm going to say 3.86. Oh my god, it's 3.86. Am I a witch? I think I'm a witch. I am a witch. I know I'm a witch. I manifested a set list for a concert once, but how did I do that? Oh my god. I swear to you, I did not look this up beforehand. I'm a witch. That's incredible. Oh my gosh. I feel like I deserve a treat. I deserve a treat for that one. I'm not punishing myself for the wrong ones. I'm getting a treat for guessing that exactly right. What the hell? I can just end the video there. That was the most successful, I think, ever. But unfortunately, I do still have 2 left. Next, we do have the 10,000 Doors of January by Alexi Harrow. Thank God it's a short back. I cannot do these long backs anymore. Oh dear. The next one is a long back, but at least it's the last one. As the ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke, January Scholar feels little different from the artifacts that decorate his sprawling mansion. Carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. But when she finds a strange book, one that tells the tale of secret doors, of love, adventure, and danger, for the first time, January realizes she can escape her story and sneak into someone else's. That sounds good. Oh dear. There are footnotes. I hate footnotes. But it sounds good. It sounds interesting. I don't think it's her most popular work. However, I couldn't see this being rated lowly. And so I think I'm going to go with 3.95. That feels like it's in the right realm. 4.01. Okay. Yeah, that's higher than, honestly, I thought it would be closer to like the 3.8s. It's a lot higher than I thought it would be, but that's positive because this is one of those books that I've been wanting to read really badly, but that also kind of intimidate me. And so seeing that as 4.1 is a great positive sign and also very convincing for me to pick this up soon. Will I actually? Who knows? And then last but not least, we do have the Starling House by Alexi Harrow. I have been wanting to read this for so long. I do actually think I might read this novel next, depending on what I'm in the mood for. Opal is a lot of things. Orphan, high school dropout, full-time cynic, and part-time cashier. But above all, she's determined to find a better life for her youngest brother, Jasper. One that gets them out of Eden, Kentucky, a town remarkable for only 2 things: bad luck and E. Starling, the reclusive 19th century author of The Underland, who disappeared more than 100 years ago. All she left were dark rumors and her home. Everyone agrees that it's best to ignore the uncanny mansion and its misanthropic heir author. Almost everyone anyway. Opal has been obsessed with the Underland since she was a child. When she gets the chance to step inside Starling House and make some extra cash for her brother's escape fund, she can't resist. But sinister forces are digging deeper into the buried secrets of Starling House, and author's own nightmares have become far too real. As Eden itself seems to be drowning in its own ghosts, Opal realizes that she might finally have found a reason to stick around. And now she'll have to fight. Welcome to Starling house, enter if you dare. If I am not dying to read the next book in the series that I'm currently reading, this is what I'm picking up once I finish the book I'm currently reading. Hands down. This sounds so interesting. God damn it, there are footnotes in this one as well. I don't like footnotes. But anyway, I genuinely think that this is going to be highly rated, and especially knowing that 10,000 Doors of January was a 4.1 and this one's much more popular and I'm also pretty sure more well loved. I would not be shocked if this one is quite a bit higher. I think this one is going to be at least a 4.23. Obviously the range goes both ways, so if it's still in range below, it still counts. I just would be shocked if it's below a 4.23. Just want to clear that up. $3.79? What do you mean? That's shocking. Not that 3.79 is a low rating. 3.79 is a high rating. It's still a good book, but I'm astounded. Not only did I get it wrong, I got it incredibly wrong. That's shocking, to say the least. Wow. I'm astounded at that. Again, 3.7, like I said, I was being a little weenie at the beginning of this. Anything above a 3-star is a fine rating. Anything above like a 3.6, 3.7 is a very high rating. So let's not be little snoots, shall we? But yeah, that was shocking, to say the least. I'm very surprised about that. But shit happens, I guess. I don't know. So I got these 4 incorrect, unfortunately. But I did get these 5 correct. And to top it all off, I got this one on the dot. And so I will not be punishing myself for the ones that I got wrong. I will be treating myself. To what? I'm not sure. I made myself a nice coffee yesterday and I didn't finish it, so I drank the second half today. So I don't think I'll be making myself a nice coffee, but in the next week I will be thinking about how I will treat myself, and then I will come back and let you know. Hi, so I completely forgot to film this when I made it maybe 3-ish days ago, but my treat that I made was, I've been really craving a mocha coffee, and so I got chocolate syrup and I ended up making myself a mocha coffee. I poured syrup into the actual coffee and then I also mixed it with my milk, and so it was like a little chocolate milk foamy situation. It was delicious. It was really yummy. I'm sorry I forgot to add a clip, but I did treat myself. That's what I treated myself to. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.